Some of the most active 90 and 100-year-olds in the world don't go to the gym. They don't count steps or take supplements. They simply walk to visit neighbors, squat to tend a garden, and dance at community festivals. They don't do this because they're youthful. They're youthful because they do this. Today we're diving into how movement is embedded in cultures around the world and how our own country is making hopeful progress to return to what the human body is built for: natural, lifelong motion. Today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast, where we dispel the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. I'm your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions about this episode or anything health-related, reach out to us at 251-278-3343. Email me directly at garrett@personaledgefitness.com or visit us online at personaledgefitness.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Personal Edge Fitness or on X at Team PE. And please, like, follow, and share this podcast. It helps others learn that age is no limit. In places like Okinawa, Japan, and Sardinia, Italy, people routinely live into their 90s and 100s. And not just alive. They're active. They climb stairs. They garden. They walk for miles and dance. They don't typically do what we know of as formal workouts. They don't count reps or worry about how many calories they're burning. They simply live lives full of movement. They never stopped using their bodies. A study from the Okinawa Centenarian study found that people in their 90s had remarkably low rates of muscle loss, or what we call sarcopenia, even though they never did anything like what we think of as exercise. In Sardinia, older adults are walking steps. They're walking mountain paths every day. One 2012 study in experimental gerontology showed that these individuals had leg strength and cardiovascular fitness that rivaled younger adults in more sedentary Western countries. Why? Because their lives demand it. Because movement isn't something they add, it's something they do. Meanwhile, in the West, well, here in the U.S., we've built lives that value comfort and efficiency. We've created drive-thrus, escalators, ride-on lawnmowers, and delivery apps for everything. With all that came a cost: less movement, fewer reasons to use our bodies. We've engineered stiffness into our lives. But here's the twist. And this is what really does excite me. Things are changing. We're entering what I would refer to as the renaissance of American movement. More people over 50 are playing pickleball. More parks are being built. More communities are encouraging walking, hiking, biking. We're rediscovering what the body was built for. A 2020 report from the Physical Activity Council found that Americans aged 55 plus had increased their participation in recreational fitness and sports by 11% in just 5 years. Even more encouraging, many of those people hadn't been lifelong exercisers. They started late, and they still got the benefits. A study in the Lancet Health Longevity found that people who began regular activity after age 60 had major reductions in cardiovascular risk, cognitive decline, and frailty. In other words, as always, it's never too late. What do other cultures teach us? Well, I'm sure you've heard of the Blue Zones. Blue Zones teach us that you don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership, and that's a gym owner telling you that. You don't need to live in a specific part of the world. You just need to move often, naturally, and very important, with joy. Movement there in the Blue Zones is purposeful. Tending gardens, walking to town, joining festivals, and in many places, play and motion doesn't have an expiration date. It shouldn't in your life. You don't need to herd goats in Sardinia to get the benefits, though. You can join a hiking group, dance in your living room, take the stairs, wrestle with your grandkids, or in my case, my dogs. What matters most is that movement becomes normal, not exceptional. Here's why I'm so hopeful. We're seeing a rise in walking groups, standing desks, functional fitness, senior athletics, and intergenerational play. Senior programs are more popular than ever. National parks have hit record visitation numbers. The mindset is shifting. We're not accepting decline as a given. We're not buying into the myth that aging means sitting still. And this very podcast, and your decision to listen to it, well, that's part of that shift. So, how do you start? Well, don't overthink it. Just add more movement to your day. Let it be part of your lifestyle and not a separate event. And remember, joyful. Need any ideas? Well, call us at 251-278-3343. Email me at garrett@personaledgefitness.com. Check out our resources at personaledgefitness.com or find us on Facebook and X at Team PE. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, please share it with them. You don't need a passport to rediscover vitality. You just need to move, and move with meaning, because natural, joyful, purposeful movement isn't foreign. It's one more way Personal Edge Fitness helps you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope I see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.